Hello, welcome friends and fashion lovers. I am so excited to have you back. I want to say a very big thank you for your love, your support, your comments, your like, and thank you for clicking on this video. If you're here for the first time, please do well to subscribe to help this channel grow. And if you like what you see, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of videos in future, and check out other of our videos. Today's tutorial will be drafting a shirt, the one I'm wearing, and also the collar. And the collar is made up of the collar stand and the collar fold. To get started, the measurements you'll be needing are your neck measurement, the shoulder measurement, the round bust measurement, the shoulder to waist, the round waist measurement, the shoulder to hip measurement, the round hip measurement, the shirt length, and your bust span if you want a dart in your shirt. For drafting the pattern, I'll be using my pattern paper, of course, my pattern master, a long ruler, a marker and a pencil, a tracing wheel, a masking tape, a scissors, and my tape measure. To get started, I'm marking my guideline, after which I will mark 3 inches and draw my center front line. The 3 inches is for the placket, the shirt we'll have. So now from my center front line, I am putting in my vertical measurement, which are my shoulder to waist measurements, my shoulder to hip line. I'll extend this marking across since I'll be drafting both the front and the back pattern. Then your desired shirt length. Mine is 42 inches. So mark that out. Here I'm just indicating the line so that you know which one is which. So then on my center front, I am going to just mark my chest line. I'm using a pencil to mark the chest line. So next is to put in 1/6 of your neck measurements. So mine is 2 3/4 of an inch. Add 3/4 of an inch to 1/6 of your neck measurement. Mine is 3.5 inches. And curve that out to form your front neck deep. Should I say your front neckline? Have your shoulder measurement. Mine is 7.5. Extend that line to the chest line. That's half the shoulder measurement so that you could have a straight line. Make sure you take out your shoulder slope. I'm taking out 1 inch as my shoulder slope. Connect that line back to the neckline. So since this arm line is going to be temporary, put in 1/4 of your bust measurement. Mine is 9.25. Make sure its measurement starts from your center front line. Add 3/4 of an inch for ease. Please make sure that you add ease to your pattern. It's very important. So then you can measure your armhole length, then go in by 3/4 of an inch for the front. And draw your armhole line. This is the reason I used pencil initially. So now extend the chest line, whatever line you have on your chest line, make sure you mark that amount of number on your waistline. Just make sure you have a straight line running from your chest line to your hip line. I'm using pencil because this is a temporary line. So here, if the hip line accommodates, if this line accommodates your hip measurements plus half an inch, leave it straight. If it doesn't, make sure that you mark your hip line and add at least half an inch of ease to your hip line. So my hip measurement is 40 and this line is 10. I'm adding 3/4 of an inch. You could use from half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, depending on how much ease you want. On your waistline, still on that straight line, go in by half an inch. Half an inch from that straight line. Now you can reconnect your new chest to waist and waist to hip line. Now take your new hip measurement and transfer it to your hem line, except you want it flared out at this point, but this part is totally your choice. Then here I'm marking 1 inch downward and half an inch by the side upward. Then I'll make sure that I have at least 4 inches. Then I'm going to connect this point. This is just the design I choose because I don't want so much arc at the bottom. So decide the design you want. For the dart, locate your bust point from your shoulder and put in your bust span measurement. Have your bust span measurement. Mine is 3.5. The front dart is 2 inches above the hip line. So mark your bust span measurement there. And also the front dart is 1 inch below the bust point. Now connect, and this will be your dart line. If you're wondering how you know the amount of dart to take out from your waist, put in 1/4 of your waist measurement, add ease to it, from half an inch to 3/4 of an inch ease, then whatever is left should be your dart. Now to the back. The back shirt is mostly the same measurement as the front. The neck width is the same, the shoulder the same. The shoulder line is the same as the front, but the neck dip is half an inch for the back. Then connect that out to form your neckline. Now, on the chest line, put 1/4 of your round bust measurement plus 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. That is 0.25 of an inch to that. To form your armhole, find the midpoint. Go in by 1/4 of an inch. Unlike the front that you went in by 3/4 of an inch, the back is 1/4 of an inch and the rest of the measurement is the same except the length of the dart. For the length of the dart, you put in your bust span measurement. The back dart is 1 inch above the hip line and it extends to the chest line. The back dart is 1 inch above the hip line and it extends to the chest line. Note that the back pattern will be cut on fold while you cut 2 pieces for the front. Now to the placket. To know the amount of the overlap to use, it's determined by the diameter of the button you are using. That is how I determine mine. I'm not saying it's standard. So diameter of my button is half an inch. So I mark half an inch and this is for my overlap. For my facing and interfacing, is double the diameter of my overlap. My overlap was 1/2 inch, my facing is 1 inch, my interfacing is 1 inch. That means extra 2 inches. If you remember that we left 3 inches for the placket, so now we have 1/2 inch left. The reason you should always leave extra so that after marking you will have a straight line, not a crooked one. So here for the yoke, the front yoke is determined by you. I decided to use 1.5 inches as my front yoke. So you could decide to, and maybe in future we'll be doing other front yoke designs that is curved and other lower than this. Then for the back yoke, measure 4 inches downward. The back yoke is 4 inches. Mark that out. So now before we draft the collar, we are going to fold the facing and interfacing in so that we can take the measurements so that we don't confuse ourselves. So here, fold your tape, make sure that it's in line with the curve of the back neck. Take your back measurement. Also fold your tape, make sure it's in line too with the front neckline. Take the front neck measurement. Please don't include the overlap. I had 3 inches for the back and 5.5 inches for the front. So put in whatever you had as your own measurement. So remember, I asked you not to put in your overlap. So now it's time to put in your overlap measurement. That's aside your front and back. So my overlap, you remember I said was 1/2 inch. So I'm marking that 1/2 inch here. So from your center front, draw a straight line, square a line upward. On this line, mark 1/2 inch upward. Connect it back to the original line. Also mark 1 inch from the center and also 1 inch upward from that 1/2 inch that you had raised. So now you're working with the rest line. With this marking now, time to mark your overlap 1/2 inch to upward. Make it a straight line, then curve it to meet with your center front. It's okay if it exceeds the grain line that you marked or the center line that you marked. It all right. So now your collar stand is ready. For the collar fold, remember that you rest the side by 1/2 inch. Now also rest the center by 1/2 inch now, so that you will have a straight line to start your collar fold marking. Now you have a straight line to start your marking. Mark 2 inches upward from this your new line. On this other side, mark 2 inches too. Now connect this point. Please listen carefully. From these 2 inches, mark 1/2 inch upward, then connect it to your original line by the side. It's just the center that is raised. Now mark 1/4 inch downward from the top. Connect it to the original side. Just note that I'm putting this on the center back. All these measurements are done on the center back. To your overlap side, mark 1 inch outward. Connect this point to both lines. Make sure you are connecting it to the intercept, the points that your curved line and your straight line meets. That is where you should connect this to. Then now your collar is ready. That's your collar fold. So make sure that you cut this on fold. If you did not draft it on fold, at least cut it on fold and include your seaming allowance. Please note that I am drafting this pattern without any seaming allowance. All I included is a wearing ease so that it won't be too tight, but there is no seaming allowance. So to sew this pattern, make sure you add your seaming allowance. So now I'm going to cut my center front. Make sure that your placket is fold in. That's your facing and interfacing. Then just cut the rest as normal. So cut your front yoke and add to your back yoke. Please make sure that the points meet each other. Do not overlap because I did not add any seaming allowance. That's why I've had to place a tape under. Stress your yoke out in a fresh pattern paper. So here I've traced it with my tracing wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's visible for you to see how it looks. So cut it out. If you're separating your back yoke, make sure that you're sewing it back with your seaming allowance. Even the yoke that is separate, make sure everything you're seeing here should have a seaming allowance. So at this point, the pattern is ready. So I am pleading with you again, add your seaming allowance. Add your seaming allowance. It's very important. So in another tutorial, I'll show you a quick way of putting this pattern together to have the dress you saw me put on in the beginning of this video. Please, thank you for watching and see you in the next tutorial. Please, you can slow it down and watch it over again. I tried to make it as fast as I can so that at least all my subscribers will have access to this pattern because I will be using it a lot in the future. Thank you once again for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next tutorial.